Hello everyone. I'm Ariana Samoto, and welcome to this short little video I've made of in Traveler's Rest. I shared a story about an injury I had, and I just clipped this out so that if anybody wants to just hear the story without clicking on the video and all that other stuff, I've made its own little video. So you can just click on this video to listen to my injury story of when I fell on a glass jar and injured my booty. It's entertaining for you all, I'm sure, because I certainly laughed at myself after. Enjoy. Now that that's all doing its thing. So what happened? It was it was like later in the evening, and I was very excited because I was setting up because this is like when I finally got like my stuff all sorted and I was able to think about getting back to streaming. And so I had been fiddling with my computer and stuff all day. And I was tired and I was just about to get up to go to my room and go to bed when the kitty knocked over a candle, like this one of those large candle holders. Hey, Cortex. Um, like the ones that you can get from, I think I'm gonna pause. Is there a pause button? Does that pause the timer? Yes, I think it does. I hope it does. So, because I don't want to, story might take a bit and I'm a derp and I might forget to pause it. So I want to go to bed and they knock over a like it was an empty jar, almost empty jar candle. Like it was the ones you get, I don't know if you guys know Michael's but it's like one of those big jars. They kind of look like a honey jar, about the size of a honey jar, but it has like a suction cup lid on it. Anyway, they knocked that over and it was rolling, and I got up to go and pick it up because I was getting up to go to bed anyway. So I'm like, well, whatever, I'll deal with this. Now, on the floor next to my chair, there is a fluffy, plushy dog that the cats need and lay on and snuggle up with while I'm doing stuff. So I get up to go and pick up the candle holder, like the jar, the glass jar, and I step on the dog, and then go to step closer to the candle holder, and Kitty decides to run under my foot, and I had to stop my foot from stepping so I didn't step on the kitty. And so I lift up my other foot, I stopped myself from putting my foot down, but in the meantime I was about to lift up my other foot, but the dog slipped underneath my foot and I ended up stumbling forward. And so I stumble over the cat so I don't fall on the cat. And then as I stumble forward, I step over the jar because I'm like, oh no, I don't want to step on the jar and break the jar. And then I step forward so I don't fall forward. And then I end up falling backwards. And when I fell backwards, I literally landed my ass right on the jar, on this glass jar. And it just like shattered the jar. And I get up and I look down and I see my foot was injured. I don't even know how, but like I've got like two puncture wounds in the top of my foot, like bleeding. And I'm like, well, that sucks. And at that time, I didn't even think my butt is bleeding. Like, but I get up off the floor and I'm looking at my foot. I'm like, damn it, my foot is bleeding. So I do this like half penguin waddle thing. I start waddling to head to like get something to like prevent blood dripping everywhere on the floor. And as I'm waddling, I feel blood start trickling down from my butt. And I'm like, shit. And so I do this half penguin cowboy squat waddle into the kitchen because I like squat down and just kind of start waddling my ass into the kitchen to grab some paper towel to stop the bleeding. And I'm waddling, and there's blood trickling down down onto the floor as I'm walking because I'm bleeding everywhere. And I gets the paper towel and I kind of dab a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I need the first aid kit because this is bleeding a lot more than I thought it was. So I start waddling into the hallway where I forgot that I didn't have my first aid kit in the closet there, but I was thinking it's in the closet. So I waddle into the hallway, my half penguin cowboy squat, open the cupboard, the closet. Shit, it's not in there. So I'm like, oh damn, I moved it into the bathroom. So I start waddling my ass into the bathroom. And, and meanwhile, there's like this blood trail from my this where I injured myself into the kitchen, down the hallway, into the bathroom. And so I finally get the first aid kit, open it up onto the toilet. Because I don't, my counter space is covered with crap and there's no way I go. Anyway, so onto the toilet seat. And the cats are like, ooh, something to play with. And they jump up and they knock all the stuff everywhere. So there's bandages flying all over the place. And I'm like, no, kitties, no. And here I am still bleeding all over the floor in my half penguin cowboy squat. And, oh my God, it's like literally ridiculous to even. And I'm picking up all these bandages and I'm like, kitties, get out of here. And like, I'm shooing them out. And so I'm bent over like a freaking pretzel for the next half an hour, dressing the 5 puncture wounds on my ass and the 2 puncture wounds on my foot, on the top of my foot. So the next half hour, that's all it was. And so when I like, and I was doing this, like, you know, that little bird that temperature bird that like bobs its head in the water and then it like bobs back because it's temperature changes, and so the bird is constantly in motion. That's kind of what I was doing while I was dressing myself. I was constantly doing an up and down motion like that because otherwise, like but every time I did it, the head rush was ridiculous because I was losing blood and I was like, yeah, like the constant like head rush from going up and down, the blood rushing to my head all the time. It was just, yeah, not fun. But I got I've got my pressure bandages and my suit steri strips on my booty, like dressed. We're good. And so I'm all dressed up, all bandaged up, and I'm like, all right, now and at this point I'm totally numb. I don't feel anything. There's not I have no feeling on my butt, no feeling anywhere. So yes, exactly, Cortex. That's exactly what I thought too. Sounds like something that would happen in a comedy movie, literally. And crime scene, yes, Ivan, definitely. But um, so I've got the steri strips and the pressure bandages on my booty, and I realize there's a big broken glass jar in the middle of my living room, and I've got cats. That's not good. They're going to end up injuring themselves. So I just like, damn it. And like I said, I'm not feeling anything. There's no pain, nothing. It's just numb, a numb bum. I had a numb bum, completely numb bum. And so I'm still doing the half penguin cowboy squat because literally it's like a diaper on my butt from the bandages. And so, and I start waddling, grab the broom. Now, the problem is my cats like to play with the broom while I sweep. Like literally, it's a pain in the butt to sweep anything because they like grab onto the broom and like get drugged behind the broom. So I get into the living room and I start sweeping, and I'm like, kitties, stay away. I hope you don't hear me sweeping. They heard me sweeping. So I was literally kicking kitties away with my help. Like, oh, it was just ridiculous. I was like, here I am wearing a freaking bandage diaper, kicking kitties in a half penguin cowboy squat as I try and sweep up all this broken glass. I'm like, what the hell is my life? So I finished sweeping up the glass while trying to maneuver around the kitties and put it in a box because obviously broken glass, if I put it in a plastic bag, it's gonna rip. Put it in the box, and I'm like, I am way too tired to deal with the blood on the floor. I will simply clean it tomorrow. So there was literally blood everywhere, and I'm like, screw this, I'm going to bed because I was heading to bed anyway before I injured myself. So I head to bed. I get up in the morning. I'm like, okay, time to go clean up blood. There was no blood anywhere. The cats licked it all up. I can't even see where the blood was. They cleaned it. It's gone. No blood anywhere. I was like, what the heck? At least, like, I know if I die, my cats will eat me. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, oh, it was awful, Ivan. It was so awful, but it's so funny to tell later. Like, God. And so after that injury, I couldn't like obviously do anything. And I have like my cleaning job to do, so I had to cancel for that week. And the next week, the my first job that I had, after the job, I started noticing swelling in my legs. I'm like, what the fuck? So like for the entire week, I'm like, no, I'm useless. Like I can't put clothes on, can't put pants on because I got this huge diaper bandage and it was just ridiculous. Oh, Kitty. Kitty fell off. Kitty was sleeping and rolled. Yeah, better be careful. Don't get injured around them. They're gonna cannibalize me. Well, not cannibalize because they're cats, but whatever. I don't know what that would be. What would you call that? Well, eat me, obviously. But like there's like if you're an owner and your cat or animal eats you after you die, there's like a word for it. I can't remember what it is though. But anyway, so that same evening I'm like, well, this is so weird because literally my right leg swelled up 2 times and my left leg swelled up like maybe a half, 1.5 times. And so I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. This is not good. And at that point, I still had like the numb bum and like the pooling in my booty. So like, but the injury itself, like I didn't have any bruise at all. Like when I first got injured, I started seeing a bruise form, but then when I saw it the next morning, there was no bruise whatsoever. So I'm like, that's weird. How hard I hit and what happened. I should have had a bruise on my butt, but no bruises at all. It was so weird. Maybe, I don't know. I thought there was a word for it. I'd have to look it up, but I don't want to look it up right now. I'm in the middle of story time. Um, corpse scavenging. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, at least I don't have to worry about getting stinky because my cats will eat me if I do end up passing away in my apartment. Um, so I there's like a thing in Canada where it's like 811, I think. You dial 811 and you can call loot my body for bones. Yeah, probably. Very odd not to have bruising. Very odd, right, Ivan? I was like so confused. Like, unless it was like an internal bruise. I don't know. It was just weird because I was like, literally, how badly I injured myself. There should have been a huge purple bruise. And I bruise insanely easy. So that was very disturbing for me because literally I bumped my toe or my elbow on something. I wake up in the morning sometimes and I'm like, where did that bruise come from? That's how easy I bruise. And so for me to not have a bruise on my booty after that injury, I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, so I I call 811. Canada has this number 811 where you call in and you give them your symptoms and they tell you, well, you should go get it checked out at the hospital. You should get to emergency now. You should call an ambulance. All these other things, right? Give you advice. So I'm talking to the nurse on the phone because, like, literally my symptoms had me concerned because I'm like, literally, it could be like possible clot going on or like, yeah, there's the risks there. So she's like, yeah, it's saying go to get it checked out within the next 4 hours. I'm like, okay. So I go to the minor emerge and I'm sitting there it's so uncomfortable to sit. Like I had to like sit on my hip, like on my left hip. Like it was like it was so uncomfortable. I was lounging on my left side or right side for the entire week. Like I kept having to rotate and sleeping was most uncomfortable. Anyways, so I'm sitting on my left hip and waiting and I'm get called in to see, like I sat there for 20 minutes waiting to get into the office and then sat there for another 10 minutes waiting to get the doctor to come and see. And then the doctor comes in and I'm like, so last week I fell on a glass jar, broke my butt, and now I have swelling in my legs. He's like, let me check. So he's checking and he's like, yeah, it's because I said to him, I'm like, I think it might be nerve damage, but I called the 811 and they said come in. He's like, yeah, it could be possibly clottish, but like considering the swelling and no bruising, I'm thinking it's nerve damage, and but I'll check. And so he checks and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's nerve damage. And so the numbness in my booty was so like it was so weird not being able to feel your butt. It's like a space between you and a cushion is it's very unusual. So I had numbum, but pain when I would put pressure on it. It was just so crazy. Hey, Giovenco. I was just finishing up story time. You missed it. You're gonna have to go back a bit and listen because it's hilarious. I share my injury story about my poor booty, my poor damaged bum. But yeah, it was an insane injury and so funny to share though.